Today, I was reminded of a situation, well, not situation, but just a season in my life where I would feel like I was just being so immature, selfish, and just still broken. Um, Back in, I would say, 2017, 2018 was just a season where I feel like I was starting to have like these identity crises or issues because I was a newlywed. I had been married for a couple of years. I had, um, I think I had a toddler. I'm trying to think the ages. I think my kids were maybe were probably like 3 and 4, maybe 3 or 4. No, they were older. Okay, and I had lost myself. I feel like I lost myself within my new roles as a wife and as a mom, and I was angry about it. Instead of getting more wisdom from people, I was just angry about it. It was a new territory, and I was just used to having the answers, and so it was a vulnerable state, and I was mad about the vulnerability. And so uh, people would, different people would say, you're gonna be a stay-at-home mom, and you're gonna. All of their answers was based off of being kind of like a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home wife, and I guess a lot of people desire that. Like when people say, "Oh, when I grow up, I want to be this," a lot of people desire to for their spouse to be financially stable, to be able to let them stay at home and raise their kids and things. Not that that's a bad thing, but that just never was something that I said I wanted to be that. And so when people would tell me that, they were all excited, but I was just like, okay. And so I would get different words from people, some that knew me, some that didn't. And the word would always tie to, um, the Lord said you're going to be a stay-at-home wife and you're going to be a stay. And it always pertained to my family, what I would be and do for my family. And so after so long, it started to kind of upset me. I wasn't upset with the people that told me. I was just like, is that all I am? Like, is that all I'm called to do, is just be for them and not necessarily, what about me? That used to be my inside thing I used to say, what about me? And so I remember specifically in 2018, I went on a women's retreat out of town. And there was a portion where we had impartations and I got a word. And the word was pertaining to what I would be in this season, what I would be for my family. I'm the answer for my family. I'm going to do all these different things. And y'all, I was so mad. Like, I received the word and then, I laid on the floor. I was just letting it soak in. I was on that floor so mad. I'm embarrassed. I was so mad. I'm embarrassed how mad I was. I was so mad. Not at the person that gave me the word, but like, Lord, that's all you see in me is just for me to be for them. And don't get me wrong. I love my husband down. I love my kids down. Like, I know that's my first ministry. I got to make sure that they're good at all times before I even commit to anything else. So please don't hear me say I didn't want to be at home, because that's not what I meant. Or I didn't want to be what they needed me to be. That's not it. I just had a moment of selfishness. I was still broken in some areas. And the most important, I was still immature. And the reason I say that is because I wasn't looking at how great of a situation I really was in. And I say a great situation of, it's getting crazy out here. Like, the expenses to raise a family, even for two, it's so expensive that even when you have a two-parent in the home, they make decent money. Times are just hard. But I was taking advantage of what I had in front of me. I was taking advantage of the fact that there was a season where with both of my kids, I had to step down and come home and leave my job because my husband, told me it would make more sense for you to leave that job and come home and homeschool the kids, because at that time, childcare was so expensive. So it made more sense for me to come home. On top of that, I'm a stickler for teaching my kids at home anyway. And so I was, whatever they should know at their age, I was also already teaching them the next level. So it was like I was still doing it anyway. So, I had to, a couple times I did have to step down and come home to do homeschool with my kids. And I love that time with them because I do think it benefit them that extra time as well. But this is more so about me thinking about, I know that I have all these different talents and abilities and gifts that is being held up because I needed to be where I was. And I'm sharing that, not to have people in my business, or knowing where I was, but I'm sharing it because I do know a lot of women have this issue or have these inner thoughts, because you're like, what about me? There's a season for everything. And had the Lord allowed me, although I know that's what was needed then, But I had not Holy Spirit checking me, but I had a self-check of myself. Antoinette, during that time, you were still dealing with brokenness. You were still dealing with immaturity, selfishness. Had the Lord allowed me to be released in the things that he have instilled in me in the purpose, what I think I would have helped somebody, I could have also, and probably did and don't know it, damage people or hurt people off of my brokenness because I'm treating other people the way somebody else and what they did look familiar, or not giving people access to me because of my brokenness. I want to be guarded. I'm saying all that to say it's important that we know our season of things. We also asking the Lord to reveal to us, for one, what our purpose is, and knowing the importance of the season of when that needs to be released. Because the Lord said, if you're found faithful in the little things, I'll make you rulers over much. And so many times, a lot of people want to jump into different things or want to do everybody else's job or elevate themselves earlier than they need to, and find themselves getting themselves rebuked or corrected, then getting upset because you're moving out of your season. And then most of the time when you're assigned something, most of the time it's really a test to see, can you actually do what you're being asked to do? Whether that's at a job, whether it's God giving us an assignment to do something. Because like he said, can you be found in the little things? Can you be found faithful in the things that nobody can see? Like, it's helping you deal with that pride, or you feel entitled like you're supposed to be somewhere. It's so important to be found faithful in what you have been assigned in that season. And most of the time, good example, because I still got the movie David on my mind. David is a great example. He over here taking care of the sheep, doing what he have to do, but that's a whole king. But he was found faithful in his season. And so I really feel like this new generation of kids, or not kids, but this just age group, they're finding themselves dealing with a lot of things that are self-inflicted because you're not identifying your season. You're trying to move and operate in something that is not your time yet. You need to be developed. Your character. Your character's jacked up. And I'm saying but this is also things I have to check myself on. Like, had I been operating or doing things earlier than what I was supposed to, I could have damaged people because I had brokenness. I needed to deal with that. I need to get delivered from the broken things that I had going on. I had to grow up. I had to not think about looking at things only the way I see them, but understanding in all aspects and on different levels, not just how I see things. And so, for one, I want to encourage this new on what it is that you need to be doing in that season. You can find yourself and you can get yourself in some trouble, and you don't need to. But what I really want to leave with is back to me on that season. I had to do a self-check. What got me back in alignment is I had to do a self-check of, first off, I had to check myself and say, Antoinette, third person, yes, Antoinette, do you know how many people would love to be in your shoes? To where you may not get in everything in this season what you want, but you have a husband that's able to still take care of the house, tell you to come home, raise the kids, make sure everything's good at the house, and the house is taken care of, but you complaining because you want to go get a job, you want to go do what you want to do, and that he trusts that you got it, even with homeschooling the kids. I also had to think about the relationship that me and my daughters have. Like, I hear some people say, if your kids love to be under you that much, they really trust you and feel safe with you. That's huge, because a lot of people don't feel safe. I'm not going to say just safe, but open enough to be able to connect and communicate or love on their parents. Well, I'm just saying, in this case, their mother. And so I have to take a step back. Like, that's huge. You're taking something that you think is small to your eye because you want to be somewhere else and it's not your season. But that's huge with that alone. I had to really check myself. Like, no, you need to chill out. Because my girls, man, I still have to, it can get a little overstimulating and overwhelmed sometimes because they just love being under their mama. They love to get out too, but they feel safe. And so even at their age now, they still like laying on me, being up under me, one on one arm, one on the other arm. And for a minute, I was taking it small, because what I'm not realizing, in a minute, they're going to be grown. And while I was too busy trying to look at myself of where I wanted to go and want to be operating in the different degrees or the different degrees that I have and want to find a job in it and make the money that I want, I was missing out on pivotal moments that many people say that all the time. Enjoy those moments while they can, because, when they start their families and stuff, yeah, they're not going to be studying you because now they finna start their family. And so I'm so grateful that I got checked and the Lord checked me before that time was up. And so within all of this, the two things that I want you to take away is knowing the season that you're in, getting the best of what you can then, learning what you can, dealing with the brokenness, and being selfless. Don't forget about yourself. Take care of yourself, but don't be selfish to the fact that you're not operating what you need to, or you backing out because you're not getting things your way. It's not even worth it. I'm so grateful that I checked myself and the Lord checked me when he did. I'm so grateful. So ask the Lord to reveal your purpose. Ask him to also reveal the season of your purpose so that you don't be trying to, after he show you, trying to operate in it earlier than what you're supposed to. Because the developmental stage is pivotal. You don't want to jump out there and be in situations that you didn't take care of the training or the information that was given to you. So I really feel like somebody needs to hear that because I needed to hear that back then. And I'm so grateful that I did. Have a good day.